Here are my frozen themed cake pops as well as my holiday themed cake pops. So if you'd like to learn how to make these, keep on watching. Here are some of the ingredients you'll need. You'll definitely need a box of cake, some icing, some things to decorate your cake pops with. I like using those sprinkles. And this is the chocolate that I use to cover the cake pops with. They're candy melts. You can find them at your local Michael's. Here are the decorations that I use specifically for the frozen themed cake pops. And the little snowflakes and the Tic Tacs for the snowman's nose. And I've just put the cake in the oven to bake it. You know that the cake is done when you can put a fork into it and it cleanly comes out. This is after the cake has cooled a little while. And you're going to want to cut off all of the crispy bits of the cake. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. I just like to do it so that the inside of the cake pops have all the same color. So they are all that white vanilla flavored cake instead of having the brown bits in there too. And here you see me crumbling the cake into a bowl. This is going to be where you add your icing and knead it all together to start creating the balls. Here's the icing. You can use whatever flavor or color icing you want. If you use anything other than white, it will change the inside of your cake pop. So if you wanted red or green or like orange for Halloween, when you bite into the cake pop, that will affect the color on the inside. So at least with vanilla cake, so just be sure that you're aware of that. You want it to stick together but not be too sticky. I like to use an ice cream scoop. Some people, I don't know, you can use whatever you want. I just like to use it to kind of get like a uniform size basically. So what I do is I scoop my little cake pop, then I roll it into a ball as symmetrical as you possibly can. Sometimes that's difficult. Then you want to place it on a cookie sheet that's lined with parchment paper because they have to cool in the refrigerator for at least an hour, so that when you put the warm chocolate on it and the warm candy coating on it, they will keep their shape. Because if you were to do it right now, they're too warm and like mushy to keep a popsicle stick in them. And if you'd like, I like to use confetti cake, but you can use whatever cake you want. And normally they have a Christmas themed confetti cake that's like red and green, but because it's the middle of November, it hasn't come out yet, so that's why I just got this confetti cake. But you can use chocolate, vanilla, whatever, carrot cake, anything you want to make these cake pops. And if you wanted to color them as well, you could put colored icing. I looked for green icing, but they didn't have any because it's too early. They also have red. I know they come out for Christmas, but you could just put like food coloring in your icing and you can turn it colors so that when you bite into it, it could be like blue or purple or like whatever your party theme happens to be. So I'm just gonna keep doing this until all my cake batter is gone.
Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the windows in the rain is pouring, it will always be Christmas in my heart.
If you've ever seen those pans that are like, make cake pops in these, I highly do not recommend those because you would just be baking your cake in the circular pan, which once it comes out and it's cooled and everything, the cake won't be sticky enough to keep like a ball shape. And once you put a cake pop in it, it would probably just crumble and deteriorate. So that's kind of why you have to do this. Like, cake pops are really cute, but they do take a good amount of time. If you can prepare, like, this is something that you could easily like bake the cake the day before so that you have it ready, and like take all of the brown parts off. And then do all these steps that I'm currently doing. Do this all the night before, so then the next day you're left with just decorating. That saves a lot of time when doing this project specifically. And you can also leave the brown parts in the cake mix if you'd like to use the entire cake. I just like to cut all the brown parts off because they're a little crunchy, which they're delicious, but when you're eating like a soft little cake ball like this, I think it just like tastes weird. The consistency changes from like mushy, I don't know, sweetness to like a piece of crunchy cake, which to me is like off-putting. But if you wanted to use the whole cake and have the little brown bits in there, you can do that as well. I just prefer to take it out. So now I'm just covering them with plastic wrap, and they are going to set in the refrigerator for an hour. Now what you're gonna do is take the candy melts that you're going to use to bind the lollipop sticks to the cake balls and place them in a bowl and melt them. You can do this either the way I'm about to show you, which is in separate bowls, and I'm just going to use white. That's a lot of candy. Let me put some back. I'm going to use white to put the sticks to the balls because I'm going to have multicolor. I'm going to have red, green, and blue, so I just want white so they're all uniform. If you're planning to make all green, all red, whatever, you can use the same candy melt and just use that to stick the stick into the ball. But for me, for this project, I'm going to use the white. And you're going to want to put that in the microwave for, I would say 15 seconds. It's 15-second increments because you don't want to burn your chocolate. So I'm going to do a 15-second right now, and then I'll show you what it looks like. This is what one 15-second interval looks like. They are semi-warm at this point, so you just kind of want to mix it. See how it's melting a little bit already? So they did get heated up, and every interval that you do, you're going to want to mix your chocolate around so that, you know, the bottom doesn't cook and the top, you know, stays in these chips, and vice versa. So I'm going to do another 15-second increment. So this is now 15-second increment number 2. Just move the chocolate around. And like I said before, if it takes, you know, 4 15-second increments to melt all this down, you still don't want to just put it in the microwave for a minute because you'll burn your chocolate. It'll be too much. You can also do this over the stove top with like a boiling pot of water and then another pot on top to melt the chocolate. But I just prefer this way. It's easier for me. So I'm going to put another 15-second increment. So here's the third round of 15 seconds. So that melted pretty quickly. Just want to stir it around because there's still like chunks of chips in there. I don't know if you could see that. So you want to stir it really thoroughly. And you want it to be really liquidy like that so that it will coat the balls correctly. Because you don't want the chocolate to be really thick because it will weigh it down and make it fall off the stick. There we go. Now that your balls have been refrigerated, here they are, you're going to take the melted chocolate, which is what we just did, and your sticks. You can use either, these ones are called treat sticks, and they're a little smaller in size. I would say they're like a classic lollipop size. And they also have these sticks, which are, they say are for cake pops, but they're way thicker. I don't know if you could see that. And I prefer the little ones. So they do have 2 different sizes. If you're going to follow this recipe, I recommend the little ones. But if you prefer the thicker ones, you could go ahead and use these. I have both. So what you do is you put your stick into the chocolate, make sure it's coated really well, and then you want to put it in your cake pop. And you want to put it about halfway in. You don't want to put it all the way in because it'll break the cake pop in half, but you don't want to put it too short or else it won't stay in the cake pop. So that's just what you're gonna do now for this entire step. And then the cake pops have to go back in the refrigerator for another hour to allow the chocolate to harden within the cake pop itself. So I'll keep putting the sticks in and then we'll see you in an hour. Hi, so now the cake pops have been in the refrigerator for an hour, so they should be very stable on the sticks. And what you're gonna do is melt your chocolate. I use candy melts, I think that works the best. People use fondant to cover the cake pops, but I haven't tasted a fondant that tastes good, so candy melts is what I do. And you want to make sure you have enough chocolate in the bowl to completely dip the cake pop in, like to fully cover it. So that's what I'm gonna do now. And you also want to make sure that your chocolate is like very thin consistency, almost like liquid. And if you can't get it to that consistency, you just add a little bit of shortening into your chocolate and it will help it get there. So what I'm gonna do is take my cake pop, put it in, kind of roll it around to cover the top parts, or where the cake pop got sealed with the white. I'm just using a spoon to kind of cover the white part. So the cake pop is all blue. I'm gonna pull it out and let the chocolate drain or just drip off. And what you can do is tap the edges very slowly, because your cake pop could fall off at this point too if it wanted to. It could fall off the stick. And just like slowly twirl it around, and as it's like hitting the air, it'll dry. And you want somewhere to have this drying. So I have this tower to my right. If you don't want to buy a cake pop tower, you could also get just a piece of styrofoam. I usually use a square one, but I forgot to buy one this time, so that's why I'm using the tower. And just pre-poke your holes in the styrofoam block, and then you can use that also as a drying station for your cake pops. This tower here, I like it more for display purposes, but like I said, I forgot to buy the styrofoam block, so that's why we're using it this way now. There you go, there's one cake pop done. So I'm going to do like a frozen theme as well as a just regular Christmas theme. So for these ones, I'm going to use my little decorations. I don't know where I put them. So we bought these at Target. They're really cute little snowflakes. Cameron, when he seen them, said, "Oh, that looks like Frozen." Those are the candy cane ones that I'll use on the regular Christmas cake pops. So I'm gonna make the blue ones have snowflakes and probably some white sprinkles. So you want to do this when the cake pop is still pretty wet so that this will stick to it. So I'm just gonna put a couple of those on there. Oops, put some chocolate behind it so it'll stick. Since Frozen's gonna come out in a couple weeks, I figured this was fitting. to make some frozen cake pops as well as just some regular Christmas ones. You want to be very gentle when you're pushing anything on the chocolate because it could push the cake pop off and potentially break it. So just be very gentle. That's what it looks like so far. I'll put one like right back there and maybe put some sprinkles on it.
I eat all the mistakes.
Cameron, he does eat all the mistakes. If the cake pop breaks, it's Cameron's dessert. Let's put one more. I said I was only gonna put one more and I'm on the third one, so that's usually how it goes. Woo, giant snowball! So there's one. I'm just gonna put it up here so that it can dry. You want to make sure to kind of stir your chocolate as you're going to make sure it's still the correct consistency, and if it's not, you have to put it back in the microwave. So you kind of want to have like a little plan as to what you're doing before you start doing this, or else it could be a big giant mess. Logan really likes frozen teethers, so that's what he's over there bouncing and chewing on a frozen teether and enjoying his life. Okay, so for this one, I'm just gonna put white sprinkles on it. And you just wanna do this on top of something so that the sprinkles don't get everywhere. Which they're probably gonna get everywhere anyway. I like to clean up the stick too, just so it looks more professional. I don't know how many blue ones should I do.
Or you did blue and white?
Yeah, and the red and the green.
How many total cake pops you got?
15.
Do you like 4, and 3?
Okay, 3 blues.
Sure.
Some people like to also dry their cake pops, or they make them like sitting like as they are right here on the pan. But I like them to be upright like a lollipop. It is a lot more difficult to decorate them that way and to get them to stick up that way. Just because you have to be a lot more delicate, whereas like them standing up like this, if you dipped it and just put it back down, it's a much easier process. But you can do it whatever way you prefer. This one I'm gonna put little snowflakes and I'll put some sprinkles on it. Okay, there's that one. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, now I'm going to heat up the white chocolate candy again so I can start making the little snowman. So I'll be right back. I'm going to start making the little snowmen, which are going to be little Olafs. Obviously they're not gonna look exactly like Olaf, it's just gonna be to represent him. So I got my white chocolate here, then you use orange Tic Tacs for the nose, and then I got this gel black kind of icing for the eyes and the mouths of the snowmen. You can also use little decorative like sprinkles that are a little thicker for the eyes and the mouth if you'd like. That's what I used last time. And they also have ink pens that are edible. You can use these too. What's happening?
Okay, baby.
What is happening? You want an Olaf? You can't have an Olaf. You only have 2 little tiny baby teeth. Okay, so I'm gonna take my cake pop, dip it in here. And this chocolate is not deep enough, so that's why I'm kind of scooting it around. Oh, see, that one just broke off. So here's one for Cameron. I would always estimate at least, I don't know, whenever I make these, at least 2 will just break off, so. Just gotta keep it moving.
But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family.
So this one I'm just gonna let dry because you can't put the gel for the eyeballs in the mouth until it dries. So the little snowmen are going to take a few steps, but that's okay because they end up being really cute.
Angels in the sand, you and me. Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart.
You can make these literally for any event. I've made these for Christmas 2 years in a row. I've also made them for Halloween. You just have to basically change the color of the candy melts. Okay, so I've added more chocolate to my bowl and reheated the chocolate to make it easier to dip the cake pops. So here we go. Oh yeah, much better. It makes it so much easier when you have the bowl full or whatever you're dipping in, like deep enough to cover the entire cake pop rather than rolling it around, because rolling it around works, but it also is moving the chocolate within, like shaking it around, so it's not as safe as doing it this way. As well as like what I was doing, scooping the chocolate on top. It makes for like a lot of chocolate on the cake part, which also makes it heavy and break apart, so. You do waste a little more chocolate doing it this way, but it ensures full cake pops most of the time. Sometimes they just break and it just happens. There's no escaping.
And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sunset is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh, and that's what we do. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows in the rain is.
The candy melts, I don't know if I said this before, but you get those at Michael's or Joann's or any craft store like that in their baking aisles. Target has some like sprinkles and stuff, but they don't have the candy melts. I got this set of sprinkles at Target, which works really well for this themed of cake pops, because you have a bunch of different options, so you can have a lot of variety in your cake pops. And then I also normally get one of these that's just like glittery sprinkles, and then I have the white ones and I have the red ones like you've seen earlier. And then if they had the actual Christmas themed icing that's like green or red, normally it comes with sprinkles on the top. The one I got was a unicorn, so it has like little sprinkles, but you could use those too to decorate, or you could just leave them solid color if you want, but I like adding sprinkles. I think it looks really cute. Now that we're done with all those, I'm gonna go back to my little snowman and start making them look like snowmen. So I got 4, so we need 4 little noses. That's a lot. Okay, here's my 4 noses. And you're gonna need some more chocolate melted so that you can stick the noses on. And then if you want your little snowmans to have hats of a sort, like little Santa hats, you'll need a separate color. So because I like to have my my cake pops standing up, I like to make the snowman's face kind of on the top. So I'm gonna make his little hat first. All you do is dip part of the cake pop into the other color, or into any other color you'd like. I normally just keep with the red and green, and they'll have green and red little hats. And then you want to, so right now, like if you look at him, he looks like he has a little hat. You want to put the Tic Tac with some chocolate, kind of stick them on here, like so. Let it dry. Then you'll use the sparkle icing for the eyeballs. There's one eyeball. And 2 eyeballs. And then I like to use like little dots for the mouth, so it looks like little coal, pieces of coal, like an actual snowman you would find outside. See, so cute. I mean, if you wanted to, at this point, you could even put sprinkles on the hat, or I could put one of these little candy canes on the back of his hat, like so. See, little snowman in the front and a little candy cane in the back.
That looks cute.
Thanks.
It's way better in Starbucks too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, that's hard.
Starbucks has, if you like Starbucks cake pops, try making your own cake pops. They'll be 1,000 times better. Because Starbucks cake pops, you don't even know how long they've been sitting there. This one's hat is gonna have sprinkles. So I'm just using these little balls from this assorted pack. There you go. There's our second little Olaf snowman. This is almost always the aftermath after making cake pops, so don't be alarmed if this is what your kitchen ends up looking like. Go ahead, Ethan. Oh no!
shit.
Where'd it go?
Somewhere on the floor, sorry.
A 5-second rule? Okay, how does it taste?
Amazing.
Yeah? And coconut?
Oh yeah, so good.
Coconut is a
Cake
winner.
is so moist and everything.
There you have it. There's my Frozen themed cake pops with a little Olaf snowman to go with them. And then here are my holiday, just Christmas themed cake pops. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope you have an amazing holiday. I hope everybody enjoys watching Frozen 2. And we'll see you later. Bye. Do you like Mama's cake pops? You've never seen cake pops before. You like them? Swan snowman? Yes.
Doesn't matter.